How does the YouTube algorithm work? Does the algorithm follow the audience, or does the audience follow the algorithm? Are you sure? I'm Rob, and I'm a YouTube product expert since 2011. And there has been a lot of discussion about how the YouTube algorithm works. Is it following the audience? Is the audience following the algorithm? It's going back and forth. Who is it? What do you think? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Are you sure? What do you think about that? Does the algorithm follow the audience? Does the audience follow the algorithm? What's really going on? Does it even matter what's happening? Audience, algorithm, algorithm. No, the audience. The thing is the algorithm is always changing. Today, it's changing in real time. It's a form of artificial intelligence and it's machine learning. So as the system operates, as the platform functions, the machine learning is learning. It's updating itself, it's changing itself, and it's constantly improving. So that makes it extremely difficult to understand what's going on now, because what's happening right now is probably going to be different than what's happening tomorrow or the next day. And it's kind of like, think of it like this. Suppose you're playing a game. It could be a game like of skill, like chess. It could be a sport type of game like baseball or football, whatever. And suppose that the rules were always changing. So when you make your move in chess, and then when it's time for the next move, the rules are different. You're playing baseball, you've got a set of rules for this inning, and then when the next inning comes along, it's a different set of rules. Football, from quarter to quarter, if the rules are constantly changing, it makes it really difficult to strategize and plan your next move, because you don't know what's going on. And YouTube tells us that the audience is in the driver's seat and the algorithm follows the audience. What the audience wants, the algorithm provides. And, that's great. I believe that's the intention, but in real life, does the world operate that way? Because there are certain things going on. For example, YouTube is banning and removing certain kinds of content. Now, I'm not going to mention the exact kinds in this video because I don't want that machine learning algorithm to think that my video's about that material and say adios and goodbye to it. So I'm not going to mention the specific kinds, but there are certain types of awful, terrible content that shouldn't be on YouTube. But the truth is, as much as we don't want to think about it, there are people that are clearly watching that kind of content. So there is an audience for the content that YouTube doesn't want on the platform. So YouTube's removed it. So if the content was available, there would be an audience and the algorithm would be supplying it. So YouTube is interfering with that process by removing the content. And YouTube has stated that they're de-ranking or not going to surface in the search and discovery system particular kinds of content. Things that we might call conspiracy types of content. And again, I want to be careful that I don't talk too much about it, but there are certain kinds of content that are marginal, and YouTube has just decided that they're not going to surface that. It's on the platform and it may comply with terms of service and community guidelines, but we're just going to kind of ignore it. And even though there's an audience for that material, it's just not going to get surfaced and they're not going to see it. And one particular kind of content that YouTube has specifically mentioned, we all know that's not true because if the earth wasn't round and it was that other shape, then all the cats on the planet would have knocked everything off by now. So we know that's not going on. Silly cats. And one more type of content that YouTube's algorithm is regulating is so-called newsworthy content. And I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, because breaking news is important. On television, you may be watching a program and you get, this program has been interrupted by a breaking news event, and they tell you about a newsworthy event. And that's necessary because we don't know that newsworthy event is happening in the world. So the only way to get it surfaced to people is through a breaking news event. Well, YouTube makes sense that they would do the same thing. So if some newsworthy event was to happen, right now, you and I don't know about it. It could be somewhere halfway around the world or wherever it might be. We're not going to know it's happening. And if it waits until the audience finds that newsworthy event and enough people view that newsworthy event and the algorithm says, oh, wait, this is really important, we need to start sharing it with more people, well, that's too late. So it makes sense that YouTube could decide, the algorithm and the machine learning, that, hey, this event that's happening right now is really important and we need to get it out there to people. But chicken or the egg, which came first? The audience or the algorithm? So there are clearly times with banning content, call it hiding content or not letting it surface, or actually recommending content where the algorithm is obviously not following the audience and putting things out there on its own. Does that make sense? Algorithm, audience, what's going on? Algorithm! No, the audience! We know that more than 70% of the content watched on videos, when people pick a video to watch it, is from YouTube recommending that content. And that's things like browse and suggested and things like that, home pages. YouTube is saying, hey, this is good content for you to watch. Search and external and the other things are the other 30%. So the algorithm is suggesting, and supposedly they're suggesting that based upon what the audience wants to see. So if the algorithm doesn't suggest it, people can't watch it. With 400 hours of video being uploaded or more every minute of the day, you are never going to know that the content exists if the algorithm doesn't put it in front of you. So again, chicken or the egg, which came first? Audience, algorithm. And this brings up the third part of the equation that we haven't even talked about. There's the audience and there's the algorithm, but there's also the creators that are making videos. And how does all of this impact what they're doing? I mean, think back in the early days of YouTube, at the very beginning, videos had a 10-minute limit. You couldn't even make a video more than 10 minutes. And it was that way for years. And then YouTube upped the limit to 15 minutes. So videos were short. When I was uploading in the early days, 2 to 3 minutes was a typical video. Anything more than that was considered ridiculous, to get up even close to the 10 minutes and then close to the 15 minutes. But that's when views counted. Back when, you made a 2-minute video, you got a view. You made another 2-minute video, you got a view. You made another 2-minute video, you got a view. Then watch time came along. So it's like, hey, we can put all these 2-minute videos together and make a 10 or 12 or 15-minute video, and that will rank us more watch time. So the impact of the audience and the algorithm, and now, which I said I wasn't even going to talk about it, and I did, is how that impacts the content that the creators on the platform put up on the platform for people to watch. Today, a video under 10 minutes is considered short. So that's important. What's the point of all this? If nobody even knows how the algorithm is working, audience, algorithm, brain fart, creators, if it's all going round and round and nobody knows how it's working, what's the point? What can we do? This is how I think about it. It's all like a big stew. You've got the audience, you've got the YouTube platform, the algorithm, and you've got the creators. And it's all equal. Again, chicken or the egg. It doesn't really matter which comes first because it's a whole circle. It's like a pot of stew. You need all the ingredients mixed together. It takes a little bit of everything. And it's pointless to argue about whether it's the audience first or the algorithm or the creators and which one's following which and where it's guiding, because it's all working together as a system. So we need to understand that and not try to focus on one little component like, do I need to get more views? Do I need to get more watch time on my video? Do I need a better click-through rate? Are people leaving when they're watching my video? What's a session time? And on it goes. We're gonna drive ourselves loopy if we try to focus, and it's like having that pot of stew and picking out one ingredient, picking out this and picking out that, once it's all been blended together and cooking for 12 hours. You just can't do it. It's all together important as a mix. Chicken, egg, audience, algorithm, which came first? Does it matter? Who cares? I don't, and you shouldn't. If you've enjoyed this video, if it's been informative and at least a little bit entertaining, hey, subscribe and watch another video.